हेलो एंड वेलकम बैक टू एक्सेलशियर एकेडमी। मैं हूँ डॉक्टर रूबी सिंह और मैं आज ला रही हूँ इंटरव्यू सीरीज़ का एक और एपिसोड। तो आज की इंटरव्यू में मेरे साथ हैं मिस्टर तेजस सूर्यवंशी, जो कि एमएससी प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे थे एक्ट्रेक में। एंड मेरी मुलाकात उनसे तभी हुई जब मैं भी एक्ट्रेक में सेम लैब में वी बोथ वे वर्किंग। सो ही वॉज रिक्रूटेड एज एमएससी ट्रेनी एंड देन वी इंटरेक्टेड। सो आज के इंटरव्यू में कुछ ऐसे ही सवाल जवाब तेजस के साथ भी, जो हमें और बताएंगे कि किस तरह से प्रिपरेशन और अच्छे से की जा सकती है पीएचडी एंट्रेंस के लिए, एंड किस तरह के पीएचडी इंटरव्यूज़ के क्वेश्चंस हो सकते हैं। तो तेजस ने भी पूरा समय का फ़ायदा उठाते हुए अपने एग्ज़ाम्स क्लियर किए और पीएचडी इंटरव्यू तक गए। तो देखते हैं और उनसे बात करते हैं किस तरह से उनका एक्सपीरियंस रहा। सो लेट्स सी व्हाट ही हैज़ टू से। हाय तेजस, हाउ आर यू?
Hi Rubiji, I'm good. How are you?
I'm also good. So you know that I've started the series of interviews so that it will help the others to prepare for their exams and PhD joining and all. So here again, I would like to ask you the same questions so you can share your experience with us. So I'll start with my first question. What inspired you, or what was your goal to do PhD or to come into the research field?
That's really interesting question. But before going to that, I would really like to appreciate the efforts you are taking, because this is really good initiative. Because when we pass out a BSc or MSc, we need that guidance of what should we do and what kind of questions require, like what kind of situation we need to face in future. So I think this kind of series will definitely us, which who are looking at for future in like research or career in their research PhDs and basically future and a career, what you want to do. So I really appreciate that. And then starting with my motivation to start PhD. So basically, your videos, and recently I watched Akansha's video, and I must say we all are in the same boat. So the story begins same. I also was trying for medical. After trying much, I couldn't clear for admission, and I decided that okay, I will go to the BSc Biotech, and I started my journey from there. The moment I started my BSc Biotech journey, like we all know in college, it's just about lectures, practical. So I was quite bored. He what area same things we are doing again and again. There is no difference thing. So with that motion, actually me and two of my friends, we started working on some project. We are like, which different we will do, and we started. And in that way, actually we started a very small research project, and we were like very excited for that. And we worked for around 2 years on 3 different projects. And that was a beginning for me. Okay, research can be a field for me, and I can do something in that field. Fortunately, it really worked well. We published paper, and it gave me confidence. Wow. Yeah, I can go in research. After completing my BSc, I applied. So after that, I was more confident. So I was trying for better opportunities. So after BSc only, I was trying for different competitive exams like JAM is there, JN is there, yes. JJBS is there, so that I can get some better for my MSc. But then somehow, and fortunately, I got selected into so many institutes at the same time, and my mind was like, okay, now what? I have this, I have this, I have this, I have that. What should I do? And somewhere I messed up, and I was like, yeah, I'm not clear. What should I do right now? Okay, I like research, but is it really PhD I want to do or not? I wasn't clear. So I decided, okay, I will do masters first, and then I will think, because most of the opportunities I was having after my BSc were integrated PhD, the MSc plus PhD courses. So I wasn't like at the state of mind that I should go for directly PhD. What if I change my mind after 2 years, and what should I do? So I wasn't clear at that moment. So I joined St. Xavier's College in Mumbai, which is autonomous institute in Mumbai, and I did my MSc 2 years course over there. And as a part of my MSc, again I got chance to do different projects, because I got chance to work on animal cell cultures, and then my good luck that I joined ACTREC for my graduation project, where actually I got a good research exposure. Like, okay, you can do this, you can do that. There are different topics. Though ACTREC was only cancer oriented institute, I met the different people who have even different backgrounds, and they were actually motivating me. Yeah, you can go for that. You can do that. I must say you were one of them. And that is something I think we all should consider what you actually like and what you should do. So that was my first kick that okay, now you are set, you can do research and you are liking something what you are doing. So let's go for PhD. So when I started my MSc, at that point only I started preparing for different entrance exams. It was quite difficult for me. So when you say time management or any timetable or study material, I must say it was difficult for me because I had taken admission to St. Xavier's, which was about 2 hours distance from my home. So I had to travel 2 hours day, like 2 hours up, 2 hours down, to 4 hours in a train. So that's the first way I started. Like I thought, okay, now because once you get back to home, you just need to eat and sleep. That's what my schedule was. And I realized if, if you are doing this way, nothing is gonna happen. You have to do something. And then I actually made my timetable, not timetable, but okay, some kind of schedule. Okay, if I am going by train, I am sitting in a train for 2 hours, at least 1 hour I will sleep, 1 hour I will study. So in that way, in a whole day, I used to study for at least 2 days, like 2 hours basically. And that's what the actually motivation for me. Okay, so once you start, you just need that kick to start
Yes.
something.
Yes.
Because we are very lazy. We are like, I will start tomorrow, I will start tomorrow, I will start tomorrow. And that tomorrow will never come. So I will suggest from wherever you are, for what point you are, just begin it.
Yes.
Okay, maybe at one day you will just read one para, but on the second day you get that kick and you start, okay, one para to one page, then ultimately one chapter, and you start more and more like, okay, yeah, I have to do it. This is very interesting. I will do it. I will do it. And you get that kick. So I think that's what happened in my case. So the exams which I cleared till now are like GATE 2019, which was, and that was really unexpected for me because my rank was some 153 all over India.
Okay.
And I was surprised because at that time I was working in AgTech only, and it was very difficult for me to devote some time specific for GATE entrance because you know that my decision period was like too much work to do, and I can't
Yes.
excuse yeah, no, I have to prepare for my exam and I can't work. So I have to manage both things, my project, because that is something very important. I will get to it, how your project makes difference in your PhD and your interest, and my exam. So I tried work. Same the train study for me because I used to travel to AgTech also daily. So train study something helped me a lot for my GATE preparation, and group study I used to do. So I have few friends and we used to discuss basically, okay, how to solve this question. Please let me know. Like it's whenever we go for tea and something, we like, I have this doubt. Do you know how to solve this question? So it was not a study, but a game. Like you ask something and you will get some answers, and you know that very well. Like I have done this in AgTech a lot.
Yes.
So that's how we started studying, and I cleared GATE, and it was my best. Like, okay, now you have cleared GATE, so you will have something in your hand. The moment I cleared GATE, I started applying for different institutes. I also and I got interview calls from most of the institutes I applied for. Then I also applied for AgTech entrance because I was working in AgTech, so I had that thing. So I also applied for AgTech. AgTech exam is also, I think it's not that difficult exam for PhD. It's something you have studied from your basic to MSc. You just need to understand the key features or a logical thing. As Akansha also mentioned, you don't need to learn or memorize things. You just need to think logically and answer that things. And that's how you will clear it. Because if you keep trying to mug up things now, it will take time. Because the syllabus, if you see, it's huge.
Correct.
Like it takes too much time to, if you start, okay, I will start today and in 1 month I will clear. It's not happening. Like I have tried that, I'm trying from personal experience. In my case, it never worked. So what I started solving question papers. So it is like a reverse methodology. Generally, we first study and then solve the question papers. In my case, I started solving question papers and then started a reverse study because I felt that whatever I was supposed to study for my entrance test, like from BSc to MSc, I have done everything. Okay, now I don't remember that thing. That's a different thing. But I know I have studied this thing and I could recollect it if I want to. So that's what I did. I started solving question papers and then whatever key doubts I used to get, okay, this topic I don't know in detail, so I should go back and read. That's how I started studying and I started making my own personal notes. That's what helped me a lot because just 2 days before exam, you can't take Pathfinder in hand and like, okay, I will read the entire Pathfinder in 2 days.
Correct.
It's not easy. So I started making my own notes so that rather than having a big book of 500 pages, I will read a 50-page notes and it will. That's my logic. And then somehow, somewhere, it helped me. So I will again suggest to start making your notes. Not like, okay, some people don't like to write too much. Make sure, okay, what things you would like to reiterate before your exam. Okay, this topic, let's say Hardy-Weinberg principle. There are questions on Hardy-Weinberg principle in every paper. Or Michaelis mentions. These are some hot topics. You have to have a detailed knowledge of these questions or these topics, and that will surely help you out. So that's how I started studying for my exams. I it was going. So that's all about my entrance exam. Like GATE, ICMR, ICT, ACTREC. That's all.
Nice. So can you
So
share a
only
few
one thing
questions?
clear.
Can you share a few
Yeah, sure.
questions?
So for interview, yeah, sure. So when it's come to interview, I know that's a very difficult state of mind, the nervousness. Like you know everything, but still you are not able to convey it to others because you must be clear about one thing that yes, I have studied, I have worked on something, and I have at least some idea about it. So if someone is questioning about me or questioning me about something, I should be able to clear the doubt about that thing. So that's the first thing I would suggest that everyone should be clear about. So in every interview, I have one common question: what is your favorite subject? And I must say, the question sounds so easy, but that's the most difficult question I could ever answer. Because, okay, I like cell biology, I like molecular biology, I like immunology, I like everything. Then how can you say that one core topic you know? But then you have to be very smart while answering this question because that's the question will take you forward in the interview. So you have to so I always try to say biochemistry because I was very like fond of biochemistry. I like to answer Michaelis mental equations and so on. And so whenever they say what you like in biochemistry, I also say Michaelis mental equation. And then again they will start asking me about enzyme biology and all. So that's how I used to take them. Because one thing is there, the interview panel will never ask you something out of the world. They will catch you at some other point, whatever you are saying. That's why you need to be very clear and smart at that moment. When whatever you are saying, be very clear, and I must say that in full of your mind, okay, you should know what you are saying because in that nervousness, we end up saying so many things, and at the end we are like, okay, did I say this? No, I didn't mean that, and then that gives the wrong impression. So no, that's the real experience I had, and it's like then I realized, oh shit, what I did. So that is the first interview I did, and it was like it wasn't bad at all, but it was I realized that you can't say I like everything. So you have to be very focused. You have to be very clear. So I think that's how Akansha also mentioned. And I really appreciate the way she has said that. You have to say something which you like. So that is a very good thing that you should be very thorough about this one subject which you actually like. And you are thinking that, yeah, if someone asks me something about that topic, I can explain. Not completely like it's not necessary that you should know each and everything, but at least something logically you could explain. So that is one thing I should say. Then apart from that, I also and the one question I also got in my interview, the one you said, how you calculate the volume of the body. It was the volume of proof in your case. In my case, it was they asked me how you calculate the volume of your body. You are sitting in my room. Tell me what is the volume of your body. And it was like I was completely bio person, and at that moment I was blank. Okay, what I'm asking, and then, but then as you said, you have to be logical. You just need to tell them what you think, because they told me at the end of the interview, we know you are from bio background, but what we are checking right now is how you think. What is your thinking process? And I think that's what important in the entire interview, because
Hmm.
at this stage, after passing out MSc, nobody expect you to be a master of everything.
Yes.
You are just a learning. I must say PhD is something we are starting a new journey with a new learning approach.
Correct.
So that's how we start.
Hmm.
So that was another question, and I actually must say I did not get the right answer at the end of the my interview, but then I could thinking, okay, I can do this, I can apply that, I can, like, starting from Archimedes principle to everything I told them, and they were like, okay, we got something from you, let's go to the next question. So that is something I think, okay, you just need to convince them, okay, you are not knowing it right now, but you must, or you are trying to get to it, like get much
Correct.
information about it, or you're trying to think about it, how can you answer this question. And then your MSc project, like my MSc project, like that is the most common thing we are having. They will ask you after your subject, what is your research experience?
Hmm.
And I think at the stage of MSc passing, when you pass MSc, there is very few people who are having actually the research experience as such. What research as such we do is a dissertation project which we do in a different institute or different lab. So they will ask you, okay. So in my case, I was fortunate that I have a good amount of work had been done in my BSc also. I used to tell them, yeah, I have done this, I have done that. So in that case, it helped me in a way that the projects which I had done previously were a different field. First, something was microbiology, something was industrial biotechnology, and something like that. So they got to know me, yeah, is having something from these different fields. So they used to ask me that what is your favorite subject as such. I was like, "Hey, this is not the time for this wasn't the time for me to tell us decide what is my favorite subject, because I was just exploring. I couldn't just stop at one subject or this is my favorite. That is the time now coming up when with my PhD. So that is how I used to. So at some point you have to be diplomatic also. Like you have to tell them, yeah, this is the way, that is the way. So that was the one thing. And you have to be very thorough about the project you have done. That I must say, because, and I think that's quite okay, because we are spending about 5 to 6 months on one project. So it is fair enough that if they are expecting us to know each and everything about the project, and you just think that this is your project and you know better about that project, because that question the answer you are giving to third person, you're telling it to them first time. It means
Yes.
at that time you are at a better side, you can explain it in a better way. But if you only get somehow stuck up that, oh, how I did that thing, and you are not remembering the thing, then that's like, okay, it might be not the project he has done, or it's just something for a sake of thing he had done. So that gives the wrong impression. So be very thorough about your research project also. Then I also faced one interview where, apart from my academics, they asked me a non-academic questions. So it was like, okay, you want to do PhD. So I said, yeah, I want to do PhD. So tell me, what is PhD for you? It is just a degree for you, or a project what you are doing matters to you? And I was like, it is not a just degree for me, but the project what I'm gonna do, it matters to me a lot, because that is something I can't work on anything if I'm not
Right.
interested in that particular topic, because I can't give my 100% if I'm not working on something which is not my subject of interest. So they were like, but then what if you start working on a particular project and after 2 years you found that your project is useless and you can't do anything about that project? So I was like, yeah, but still, if I have worked for 2 years consistently, there has to be some connectivity that I can take it further, or something that can take it further. Then he was like, whatever you had done is the end, and the topic is like what you're working on is already in a light, and people have worked a lot on that topic. Hundreds of paper has been published, and now even if you do something, that's of no use. And I was like, I think it will not work in that way. If I am trying to do something, I will surely find some key so that I can connect it to some newly coming or emerging field, and I can take it forward. Okay. Now tell me, if consistently 2 years you are getting just negative results, what will you do? And I think that is a common question in most of my interviews. That they try to take your psychology. Okay, what is your approach? If you are getting negative results for 2 years, and what will you do? So, will you leave the project and just go away because I don't want to do PhD and all? it sounds so funny now to me, but then at that moment I was like, yeah, that makes logic. But then getting negative result is a part of PhD, because if it's
Correct.
something you are doing first time and you are getting it in first attempt, that is not something you are doing. It's like, okay, that is not research basically. You have to use something extra to take so much of efforts to standardize things, and then only you will get something out of it. So they were like, okay, this sounds so philosophical, but do you think practically you will do that thing? So I think, yeah, actually I had experienced few things in my television also, that I got so many negative results, because Western plotting was something I was completely relying on in my presentation, in my project, and I used to get so many negative results. So like sometimes you get big, sometimes you get small bands, and you can't just relate to what is happening, and you have to keep on repeating it. So I was telling them my real experience, and they were like, okay, now we are okay with your thing, but then still, PhD or a degree, if I give a degree as such directly, what will you do? And after a point, I was like, it's just a PhD. It's not just a PhD for me. It's like something I want to do as my career opportunity. So I'm looking for a project which will help me to gain more and more knowledge.
Correct.
And then finally, somehow they agreed to it. And then they were like, okay, you answer really well, but then don't get pissed off or because of the question, because that's how we check the psychology basically. And I actually like that way. I'm sorry, I think some network issue.
कोई नहीं कंटिन्यू कर ले.
Am I audible, Di?
हाँ सुनाई दे रहा है. कंटिन्यू कर.
That, yeah, continue. So that was something non-academic I faced as my part of my interview. Then I will also suggest, when you are going for an interview, in maximum institute, that is the criteria, like they will first give you a list of topics, and they will ask you to give the priority list. Like, okay, this is my first paper, this is my second paper. So make sure that if you are giving a first preference for any topic, you have at least some kind of information. It's not required that you should have a hands-on or practical knowledge. At least a theoretical knowledge. Okay, if you are saying that I'm interested in working on some spindle fiber formation or mechanism in spindle fiber formation or some anti-cancer drugs or something like that. So at least have some background knowledge that, okay, if someone asks you, what do you know about this particular topic? Why are you giving this particular topic a preference? So you just not say that because I like it, or I like cancer biology, so I want to do something in cancer. You should have some practical information, like, I mean, some basic information. Okay, this is something I read about, and I was very interested. Okay, how this will work and also that's how you give your interview. If you just say that is my interest, then they will start. They get that point. This person is not having the in-depth information, and just for the sake of giving the preference, he is or she is giving the preference, and then they will start asking you some questions, and then you get stuck up somewhere. And it's not like that we are doing that as a student, we are doing it purposely. I can totally understand that, just a state of mind. We are fully nervous, the interviews, the PhD, because after MSc, I think everyone wants to go for PhD. Like those who are interested in PhD are like, they are trying their best to get as soon as possible to their PhD. So they will start giving exams, and also that is quite good thing, but that also maintains some kind of pressure to us, okay, or nervousness. So that we should maintain. It's okay to be nervous, but don't be too over nervous or too overreact to something that it will be negative at your side. So that's about interview. And from question point of view, I will suggest one, like I will just say one experience. So in one of my interview, so they asked me what is your favorite subject. So again, I was, as usual, I was saying biochemistry. So this time, rather than asking me about Michaelis Menten equation, they went into kind of instrumentation topic. They asked me about chromatography. So so you should know principle of all the chromatography basically. If you are saying something like that, because chromatography is something, a technique you must have used somewhere in your college also, or in your project related topics or somewhere. Like, these are topics like you study continuously, but you don't remember them when someone asks you directly, tell me the principle of affinity chromatography or tell me principle of the size. They ask me, yeah, I want to break disulfide bonds, then I want to do agar gel. Then how will I do that? So I was supposed to give some agents. See what can you break that bond? And then they were like, tell me which amino acids are involved in basically disulfide bond formation. So I was very quick because we all know from basic that it's a system which is involved in amino acid for like disulfide bond formation. So they were like, yeah, so that's good, you know that. Let's go and draw the structure. And that was like, okay, I was quite skeptical. Will I be able to draw the structure? So I was telling them that it is a thiol group and it involves in a formation of bond. And they are like, yeah, just try. If you know it's a thiol group, just go and draw it. And they were actually helping me. When they got to know that these are having some, so they were like, hey, don't draw it, just tell us what the group and I started telling, and then I already put right and happy with one thing. Methionine is another amino acid having sulfur group. Then why do you think that it is not involved in disulfide bond formation? So I was knowing that I was like, yeah, there is hierarchical group and there's some reasons behind. And they were like, draw its structure also. So sometimes I think I must say that even though just be prepared with these things also. So okay, logical thinking is important, but then you should know that which things are involved in such as not in detail, but at least you should know okay, when I say methionine, it should be haliter. When I say, and you try to understand things rather than learning, so you will be able to understand it in a better way. So I think about the I think I talk a lot.
No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
So अभी कहाँ हो? अभी कहाँ ज्वाइन किया है? क्या काम है? क्या टॉपिक है?
Yeah, so after my dissertation, after my MSc, actually I got so many opportunities. So after completing my MSc, I got selected in NCCS Pune as a GRA, project GRA. But then at the same time, I got some other opportunity. I went to Attrek for a GRA ship. I worked there for quite around 5-6 months, and then now currently I'm working as ICMR GRA in IIT Bombay.
Wow.
My work is completely different. Like as I mentioned, I was always interested to do something new. So currently the work which I'm doing is something in nanotechnology and stem cells. So I'm trying to understand different properties of stem cells using a nanotechnology approach, which is something I never did before. So that is something new I'm currently doing. So that's how. I'm not very like the project. I'm still writing it, so I will not able to tell more about the project details. But then it is something stem cells and medical.
Wow. तेजस मजा आ गया सीरियसली इतने सारे इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चंस और उनके आंसर्स जान के सीरियसली मजा आ गया इट वाज रियली नाइस थैंक यू फॉर शेयरिंग विद अस आई होप मेरे स्टूडेंट्स को भी ये सब काम में आए
Yeah.
Wow, it was amazing listening to him. कितने सारे सवाल जवाब, right? मुझे तो ऐसा फील होता है कि अच्छा वो ये सारे सवाल मुझे नहीं पूछे गए मेरे इंटरव्यूज़ पे एंड मैंने बहुत ईजिली फिर इंटरव्यू क्लियर किया. सो एनीवेज थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल एंड इंटरनेट इश्यूज़ के वजह से थोड़ी सी रोक थी. सो फॉर दैट व्हाट आई हैव डन इज आई हैव रिटन ऑल द क्वेश्चंस इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन. सो इफ़ यू आर नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड सो यू कैन गो थ्रू द डिस्क्रिप्शंस. All the questions have been written very carefully over there, and you can see the thing is like the answers I have not given as such because these answers will vary from person to person. Like जिसमें एक सवाल था like if you are a person who is doing a PhD और 2 साल में you're still getting the negative results, what would be your reaction? So I haven't given the answer over there because it depends on you, like how would you want to do in your life, right? If suppose this was asked to me, I would have said the same thing that I'm not gonna quit because that was my motto, that was my life goal to do PhD. So I'm not gonna quit so easily. Maybe I can deviate from the topic, like given the topic I can just make sure that additional researches can be done. So it's not like always when you join and you get the topic and you do exactly what is said to be डन. सो कैसा रहता है, आप जैसे जैसे रिसर्च करते हैं कुछ नई नई चीज़ें पता चलती है, एंड दैट्स व्हाई इट इज़ कॉल्ड रिसर्च, राइट. सो आप उस चीज़ को ऐड करते रहते हैं, तो इस हिसाब से आपका टॉपिक मॉडिफाई हो जाता है. सो देयर इज़ नो पॉइंट ऑफ एक्चुअली क्विटिंग इवन इफ यू आर गेटिंग द नेगेटिव रिजल्ट, बिकॉज getting negative result is also a result. It tells you that you are not supposed to do that again, right? So, and that's how you do your most of the experiments. So frankly speaking, for my research experience also, even for 3 years I haven't had any single line data. Even I was frustrated, I was also disappointed, and but I never went into depression. So what I did, I read so many research papers and all, and I just analyzing like whether can I do such kind of research in my area also or not. So I kept on doing, and I have beautiful results I got. Finally published 3 papers also at the end of my PhD. So in the same way, there are many more things. So I'll be interacting with more people, more friends and students of mine, so that you can get an idea. And what from all these interviews I feel is that the first basic thing is that keep your basics concepts clear, have logical reasoning. There's nothing to mug up और रट्टा मारने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है यहाँ पे. And keep your calm, because they are just checking your patience, and research की दुनिया में patience के बिना रिसर्च करना मुश्किल है. सो आई होप यू आर हैविंग फन वॉचिंग ऑल दीज वीडियोज़, एंड प्लीज़ लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब सो दैट यू कैन गेट अपडेटेड वीडियोज़ ऑल्सो, एंड मेक श्योर यू आर प्रेसिंग दी बेल आइकन ऑल्सो. सो इसी के साथ ये एपिसोड यहीं ख़त्म करती हूँ, एंड विल बी अपलोडिंग मोर. थैंक यू.